My father, he used to be a promoter in Northern Ireland, which is where I grew up, and he used to run this kind of dance hall ballroom every Saturday night, and they used to have these, what we used to call show bands playing in those days, and they used to comprise mainly of these sort of old, sort of fat guys with no hair and sort of pink suits playing country and western and top 40 material. And I used to go along sometimes with him when I was about 5 years old, 6 years old, and watch these bands. And at that age, it was quite amazing to me to see just anyone playing music live, because I'd never seen anyone play an instrument on stage before. And then one night he let me get up on stage with the band and sing, which was the start of it all, I suppose, really. He put me on a chair because I couldn't reach the microphone stand. So I sort of stood on a chair and sang this song. And that was quite an experience. And I think that's probably when I got the bug. I didn't actually start to play till I was about 10, and he came home one day from work on a Friday, and he said, "Would you like to learn to play the guitar?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'd love to try," but I didn't think for one moment that I'd be able to do it. I quickly found out that I could work things out on the guitar and started to feel very at home with it. Although at the start I was playing in the wrong tuning and everything, I wasn't too bothered about that. I was really more concerned with being able to pick out melodies and everything, and I taught myself a lot of chords just from books and stuff, and just watching other people play, really, and listening to records. So I didn't really have any formal training as such. I learnt fairly quickly that that was what I wanted to be, was a guitarist, because it was the first thing I'd ever done in my life that really felt like it was something that I belonged to. It just, I don't know, from the moment I picked it up, it just felt right. Gonna Love You was probably my attempt at that time of sort of writing a big sort of AOR ballad, you know. There were a lot of sort of things happening around that time in America, like Journey and Toto and all that kind of thing, and I suppose this was sort of my version of that, you know, with the sort of with the big sort of chords where you come into the it starts off with a very sort of gentle piano, and then it gets to just before the chorus, it's sort of, you get this. So that, you know, it was all that kind of the big power chord thing, and a very sentimental song for me also at the time, and it was, you know, something to do with what was going on for me lyrically. I've never actually written anything like that before or after, to be honest. It's always Gonna Love You is probably the only ballad of that type that I've ever written, and that's like why I put it first on this new record, because it sort of goes back to the beginning and sort of shows where it goes from there. I remember exactly when we recorded Still Got the Blues. You know, I was very determined that day. I was in a very sort of determined frame of mind to get on with this record, and I was very up for the whole thing, and I thought I had the sound of the guitar in my mind, how I wanted it to sound. So I got everything sounding really the way I wanted it to sound, and got the right balance in the headphones, and then we just went for it. We ripped into the, you know, the lick. You know, and the whole thing just sounded so amazing coming through the headphones that we were all so comfortable together that we played it, and no one made any mistakes, and it just, that was it. It just came out. The guitar melody came out, the lyric, the whole vocal, the middle eight, it all just fell together. It was so quick to write. So long. Empty Rooms, well, that was partly written by the keyboard player Neil Carter, who was in the band when I was doing the rock thing. He was the keyboard player, and he used to also play some guitar and sing. I'm sure you've seen him on the shows. And Neil had that, he had the keyboard. He had a couple of lyrics, and then I had a lot of other stuff. I had the chorus and the you hope that she will change her man, all those bits, and we just sort of put the whole thing together, the two kind of halves, I suppose. At the time, for me, that song was quite an achievement. Again, I'd never written anything like that before. And it was also nice to work with someone like Neil, because he had a lot of very good ideas that sometimes might not be quite complete, but there was always something of mine that would fit with them. And I'd never really worked that way before. I always thought you had to write a song from start to finish by yourself and not involve anyone else, otherwise it was fake. But it didn't work out like that. Some of the things that we wrote like that turned out to be some of the strongest songs on the albums.